Hello and welcome to another live episode of Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Stop whatever you're doing and huddle up because we're about to fill you in on entertainment and logistics updates for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Jessie Leonce, and if you watched us last week, you would know that we will also be having a giveaway this evening. By the way, congratulations to Mr. Alfred Drysdale, who last week won a free ticket to the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. In our final segment, of course, another ticket to see Destra and Chronix will be up for grabs. In the meantime, I would like to welcome my first guest, Ms. Denia George. She is the Business Services and Events Officer at the St. Lucia National Trust. We're going to talk a bit about the mecca of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, and that is the Pigeon Island National Landmark. Tell me, a lot of people come through the gates annually, especially for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, but very little is known about the park and its history. Do share.
Good night, everybody, and thank you, Jessie, for having me. Pigeon Island, just like St. Lucia, we were settled by the Amerindians, first of all. The first Europeans who landed there were some French pirates, and they used Pigeon Island to intercept boats heading to South America. So essentially, they were robbing all the ships and collecting all of this gold.
Pirates.
Yeah, maybe there might be some gold below the sea somewhere there. You know, divers may want to check that out. But there is Jim de Bois at Pigeon Island. It's named after a French pirate called Leclerc. He had one leg, so they called him Jim de Bois. Apart from that, we were also known for the French and British settling there, building a fort. Well, Fort Rodney, everybody knows Fort Rodney. Hopefully, everybody knows Fort Rodney. It should be part of your history in school. So the French, the British, you know, the fights going back and forth between French and British. And you see the remnants of that. We still have cannons there. We have the barracks as well. And let me see, the one part that people don't know is that a bunch of slaves freed themselves and they took over Pigeon Island from the British. They lasted there maybe about a year, and then the British came back and defeated them because they had bigger and better weapons. But for a while, you had some freed slaves living on Pigeon Island. They were called the brigands. And that is part of our history that very few people know about. So if you come to Pigeon Island, we have guidebooks, we have some knowledgeable guides, not me, but we have some very knowledgeable guides, and they can take you around and tell you more about our history.
Now, I did a bit of research myself, and I was made to understand that a celebrity actually leased Pigeon Island.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at me like, what?
Yes, yeah. I thought it was like a modern day celebrity. No, it was Josette. Following World War II, you know, the Americans occupied Pigeon Island during World War II because next door in Martinique, the Germans had taken over from France. So Martinique became part of Germany. So the Americans set up a station at Pigeon Island to spy on Martinique, know what's going on there. So following the war, they leased Pigeon Island to Josette, I think it was Hutchinson.
Agnes Hutchinson.
Yes, yeah. Yes. She was a theater actor from England. I actually met her granddaughter, great-granddaughter, who was in St. Lucia a couple of years ago doing some research. I think they're writing a book about her life and her history. So she was the one who really started tourism at Pigeon Island. She used to accommodate yachties there. There was a little jetty before what we have now, a tiny thing. So she was really the one who brought tourists to Pigeon Island.
Okay, of course, the causeway was developed in '72. What did that do for Pigeon Island?
It's a bit controversial because, you know, the National Trust is an environmental organization, first of all. So while it made it easy to access Pigeon Island, there was also a lot of environmental damage. So we lost a lot of coral. I'm sure the fishermen will tell you they lost their livelihood suffered as a result of the causeway being built. But in terms of tourism, maybe not necessarily Pigeon Island, but then you have the hotels now, the landings, you have sandals. So it was good for St. Lucia's tourism, but there, you know, everything has its negatives and positives. So there are positives. We're happy that we're getting a lot of visitors to Pigeon Island, but from an environmental standpoint, it did affect our fisheries and our marine life.
Okay. Now, when it's not jazz season, what is there to do? I understand that there are so many facilities and so many activities. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you could just come in. We open 7 days a week from 9 to 5 o'clock. So it's a great place to just come and relax. There is a restaurant, Gem du Bois, you could have lunch. There is also a little pub called Thirst. If you just want a few drinks with friends, you could do that as well. Or come with your cooler and cool out on the beach,
Yeah.
read a book, go for a swim. You could do snorkeling. There is Cox and Company operates Sea Trek Adventures there, so you could do scuba diving, which is not actually scuba diving. It's kind of a mix of scuba and snorkeling. So if you're not trained in scuba diving, you could actually still walk on the bottom of the sea and see the fish swimming around you. Yes. There's a lot to do for those people who are active. You could always take a hike up to Fort Rodney, and you have the best views in St. Lucia from Fort Rodney. It is just amazing. Or go up to Signal Peak, which is a little more dangerous because there isn't a clear path. Yeah. But it is safe. I mean, I've done it in high heels, so anybody can
bring kids there. You can't bring your children if it's a family event.
Yeah, you can bring. Trust me, the children would run up there. They have no care. They don't really worry about the parents. Worry about those things. They don't really care. But we advise people. It gets very hot, so drink a lot of water. Have a hat, some sunscreen, if you want to do those hikes. The other things that you could do besides, if you're just very lazy like I am, it is just fine to relax in the restaurant or just on the beach. We also known for our weddings. It is, I like to say Pigeon Island is St. Lucia's premier wedding venue. It is just stunning. You have, if you rent Pigeon Island for your wedding, you have it for 4 hours and you could take pictures anywhere. So you could go up to the fort, take your pictures, or you could have your wedding up on the fort if you're adventurous. We have the barracks. So from being soldiers' quarters, you now have a wedding location within those barracks. And it is absolutely beautiful when you decorate it. And the beach, if you want a private beach wedding, a lot of visitors especially always dream of having a private beach wedding. Wow. So it's very popular, but from 4 o'clock in the afternoon onwards, we do not close it to the public because public access to the beach is essential. So from 4 o'clock, it becomes private if you want to have it for a wedding. Apart from that, we rent out Pigeon Island for a lot of parties. The carnival season is coming up, so we have a few bands having their carnival parties there. Yeah, so it's worth checking out.
So it really is a mecca, you know?
Yeah, it's a mecca of festivals and activities.
Definitely.
That, or if you want to have like a private dinner, and you have the money,
to be right on Fort Rodney there.
Yes, you could come in and we could arrange something for you. So there is a lot of possibilities for Pigeon Island, not just the hiking and the history, which is important, but there's also a lot of fun and romance and, you know, a lot that can be done. Okay,
we're running out of time, but quickly tell us that the preparations for jazz this year, what is happening and how involved is the National Trust in terms of setting up and preparing for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival?
Okay, with jazz, it's really the tourist board that does most of the setup. They hire a production company and they come in with the stage and the stage cover, everything comes in and they take care of all of that. We're involved, we're part of the production team. We attend meetings to make sure that our standards are being met. We have these ruins which are over 200 years old, so we don't want anything to happen to them. You know, they're part of St. Lucia's heritage. If the grounds are too dry or if there's too much rain and there might be some damage done to it, because you might have like 8,000 people there on the weekend. So we monitor that. Sometimes, I think a few years ago, we had to cancel one of the shows because there was so much rain that it would have caused too much damage to the grounds. So our role is really to protect Pigeon Island and the heritage assets at Pigeon Island. So yeah, that is it essentially.
Thank you so much, Ms. George, for coming in, Denia George from the St. Lucia National Trust. We have to take a break, but in the meantime, I want you to like the Choice Facebook page. We want you to go there, like the page, where throughout the week we can continue discussions on jazz and arts. One of you, our viewers, will tonight win a free ticket to the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Of course, we will open up our phone lines toward the end of this broadcast to give you all a chance to win that ticket. So don't you go anywhere. anywhere. You're watching Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Still to come, the festival's Arts and Craft Village, Darity Williams, Jock Y'all for Sufra Jazz. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Jazz and Arts on Choice TV, your #1 source for info on the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. This week on our Spotlight segment, we want to highlight a performer from Main Stage Jazz who is our very own, the diva, Darity Williams. I wish everybody a very, very good night.
My name is Darity Fiona Williams. I'm a singer, budding songwriter, and what else can I say? I sing, I'm extraordinary, and I was born in London to St. Lucian parents. So, but I went to school in Ave Maria, and I went to convent. And then I started teaching at the Ave Maria school. But all in my whole attitude was about music. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's where I went. I think from a very young age, I always loved singing, picking up shoes or combs and brushes to sing to. And that was in England. But I was in the choir in England, a lot of plays. And then when I came to St. Lucia from Ave Maria, I said I wanted to sing convent. And so I got my training, Sister Claire. I was in the choir. For those of people who know me being in the choir. And listening to people, Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, one of my very big influences at the time, Barbra Streisand, again. So, and then I decided I wanted to join a band. And so, of course, the band Mixtures, many people will know the band Mixtures from years ago. And I was one of the members of Mixtures, and then it moved into Reasons. So many people don't know where I actually started. And my first show was Queen Show. Years ago, that was like 1978, something like that, yes. And I sang Natalie Cole's Inseparable. And I think that's where I made my mark. A lot of people started realizing, okay, she can do something, why don't you take this up as a profession? And I moved from there, and I've never stopped. Went back to England, and I pursued the singing, been in many shows in England, theatre work. I've done a few recordings. I've got about 5 albums to my name. The albums were cover versions of songs which people hadn't heard in a long time. But then it's been a steady flow for like 30 years now. I have been pursuing the music, and it's paid off for me. And I decided to come back to St. Lucia, did my first jazz festival here, 1992, 1993. And again, I made my mark here in St. Lucia, and I've been here. So I've traveled the world, China. I've gone to Canada, America, Dubai. Kanawan, of course, which is where I was based for 10 years, again, singing. So it's been a very profitable, very fruitful. It's not been an easy journey, because singing is not an easy thing. People believe you just open your mouth and sing, but it's not. It's a whole lot more than that. Right now, well, I'm on the Sunday. That's the first thing. That's Mother's Day, and it's a great day. I have to say I'm elated. I'm excited. I'm humbled, because for you to be chosen to perform, I think it's an experience. It's an opportunity, and I'm happy for the opportunity. For all those who did believe in me, and I want to be able to prove it. It's not easy the way I feel today, because I know I have a task of pleasing. You can't please everybody, but I want to do a good job as a St. Lucian to go out there and make my mark. I know I can do it, but you never know what can happen on the day, and I have God's grace with me, so I have a lot of support. So like I said, we're into rehearsals now, and I want to give a very good show, great show. But I have to thank all those who were instrumental in having me today. Well, I've been working on an album for a little while now. But I have my daily job, the evening job, and it's not an easy thing, because you have to know how to eat and sleep and talk. By that I mean You know, if you're going to be talking all day on a phone, you're going to have a problem with your voice later. Not being in air-conditioned rooms and being in the sun. So I know I have a routine that I do every day. I basically stay at home. I do vocalizing or I do some rehearsing. But I try to avoid, especially on the days when I am singing. And again, it's not an easy thing. When I want to have a chocolate today, and I'll say no, because the chocolate will put mucus in your throat. So you've got to be aware of yourself and the things that you do. So with that in mind, the album, I'm hoping, I have several people collaborating with Kenson Studios, and of course Horseface, Stephen Matre, who's written one of the songs I'll be performing for jazz. Of course, Boo has written a song for me, which was years ago, Boo Hinkson. Thank you, Boo. And that's another song that we are going to be performing for the jazz. Revamped, of course, we are changing everything and modernizing it and making it lovable for the audience. So I do urge people to come out for jazz. Thank you to the tourist board, the selecting board again. I won't let you down. But we need everybody to come out, support Derrida, and we'll have fun on that day. Yeah. You see, I believed all you said to me. I should have known words come cheaply. How can't a heart get used to cheating? Many wonderful things you said. Silly me, let it all go to my head. But then as time started to go by, I just knew this love would die. But trust just kept me holding on to change I hoped would come. Now the only thing that remains is a broken heart filled with pain. Talk to my heart with your actions. Talk to my heart, 'cause my heart decides my reactions. If it's really love you're after this time around, just talk to my heart. I wish everybody a very, very good night.
I love me some Derrida. Of course, we must all support international talent that is local. Buy your tickets to see Derrida Williams, who will be performing with Jesse Billy May 10th on main stage at Pigeon Island. Other artists to look out for on that night will be the headline Jimmy Cliff, Robin Thicke, and Chrisette Michelle. 2 divas in one night. Sure, it's going to be a blast. You are watching Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Sit close to your phones. We will be opening the line soon to select a winner for a free ticket for the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Jazz and Arts is brought to you by presenting sponsors: Media Zone Productions Inc., St. Lucia Tourist Board, Gold sponsors: Heineken, Digicel, RJB Hotel Supplies, St. Lucia Distillers, Chairman's Reserve and JP Cheney, Peter & Company Limited, Dutch Lady, Flow, collateral sponsors: Sea Island Cotton Shop, Landmark Events.
Welcome back to Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Our next guest on this week's show is Candy Nicholas, and she's here to talk to us about Soufre Jazz. Hello, Candy. How are you doing?
Hi, Jessie. I'm great, guys. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Cool, jazzy, breezy. Okay, Soufre Creole Jazz. You guys are the first fringe event to make an announcement of your lineup. Tell me about that. What is happening for Soufre Jazz this year?
We're very serious about our event. I mean,
Can imagine.
How do you follow on the heels of a performance of Kassav?
Kassav
Full
last
House
year.
Solutions, including myself, we're obsessed with Kassav. I think a lot of us know every single lyric to every single song. So we realized that there was great interest and people wanted to come down to Soufre, and we are just creating an event. I mean, as I said, how do you follow in the heels of a show like Kasab? So we're creating an entire package.
Okay.
So you won't get a band like Kasab, but an entire package that will equal the Kasab experience. So as you know, we have Jack Hure, we have Tedison John, who
Yeah.
always brings it with his performances.
Definitely.
We have Barbara Cadet, she's very, very talented artist and a musician in general. We have Future Lights. You know, in Super we have a band for every day, and they're all excellent. So we have the Future Lights band. We're presently negotiating with another artsy, rootsy group to put on a performance.
Okay.
And yeah. So
Okay.
what do you think about the lineup?
I'm very excited. I mean, Jack Hure, you know, a lot of people, you know, rootsy, you know, the people in the communities around St. Lucia are looking forward to hearing from Jack Hure, definitely. Tell us about the beginnings. We've seen Soufre Jazz grow and grow and grow. Let's rewind, yeah, and see where Soufre Jazz started.
Super Jazz started as a really small concept. There was a stage right there on the waterfront, beautiful backdrop. I mean, you can't beat the pitons. At one point, it was moved to the Sulphur Springs interpretation area. There's an interpretation center at the Sulphur Springs with a huge space. So that was unique as well, to have a show right there in the volcano. It became bigger over the years, and we had Kasab. I mean, how much bigger? I know I keep referring to Kasab, but I was just so stoked. Kasab in Soufre.
You guys set the bar.
I'm from Soufre, and I love Kasab. So I was like, oh, okay, I could die today. Kasab performing in Soufre, I could die today. I forgot the Creole aspect
Yes,
because
definitely.
it is Soufre Creole jazz. Everybody knows WCK. So the original Bouillon Pioneers, they call themselves now. They're the original members from the WCK band out of Dominica, and that's another group that we all know and love in St. Lucia as well.
Definitely.
So they will be performing at Soufre Creole Jazz at the mini stadium in Soufre on the 1st of May.
Yeah, fresh. The stadium is fresh.
The stadium
Recently
is
built.
fresh and ready
To
and
go.
wonderful and still set up from last year with
Really?
everywhere being blocked. It was never
wow.
unblocked.
Never
so,
unblocked.
So the stadium is all set up and ready to go for
So,
the show.
what is the committee learning? What are you learning as the years go by with Soufre Jazz? What to drop off? What to tweak? What to add? How are you guys growing?
Definitely what the aspect we're adding this year, especially since May 1st is on a Friday, is that we're making it easy for people to stay for the weekend. I remember when I was on the Super Carnival committee, we came up with this slogan that I absolutely loved: come for the lime, stay for the time. So you come for the lime, you come for the show, but you stay for the weekend because there's so much to see and do in Soufre. We have world-class restaurants, we have world-class hotels, world-class accommodations. Speaking of accommodations, we're currently in negotiations with the different accommodations around Soufre to offer discounted rates to locals, because what we're doing is trying to encourage people to come to Soufre. We always think of going overseas when we haven't explored what we have right here within driving distance in our beautiful island. One of the other things as well is anybody who purchases a VIP package can get free entrance to the Sulphur Springs Park and some other points of interest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Staycation, people, staycation. Tell me about the prices, the price of the ticket.
It's only $80 EC for this entire lineup. So let's go over the lineup
Okay,
again.
yes.
It's only $80 EC to see Future Lights out of Soufre, and they've been around forever, to see Jack Hure, to see the original Bouillon Pioneers, the original members from WCK, to see Tedison John and Barbara Cadet, as well as some other acts that are yet to be confirmed.
So it's worth it.
Of course it's worth it.
Hands down.
$80, 30 US. Anybody under 12 enters for free.
How does Soufre Jazz redound to the Soufrians, the common
The
Soufrians?
benefit of the
Yeah.
common Soufrians.
Yeah.
To have that captive audience. I mean, you have such an interesting show and such a wonderful lineup. So I know St. Lucians are going to come out in numbers. So the foundation is also working with the different businesses in the town, the different restaurants and other entertainment centers in the town, to encourage them to put on I'd like to call it the fringe events to the fringe events.
Makes sense.
So it's an entire weekend of activities. So as we speak more, I will let St. Lucians know about what other activities will be held on that weekend and what else they can do while they're down there, what discounts will be offered for people who come down.
Okay, wonderful. What is the vision for the committee? Where do you guys see Soufre Creole Jazz going? What do you want to accomplish?
I mean, I have been blessed to be present at some events worldwide where St. Lucia is marketed, and not once was there ever a campaign or a poster where the pitons were not featured. And the whole idea is to have Soufre as a brand within the St. Lucia brand, because there's just so much to do and so much to see. All of the high-end, or most of the high-end properties in St. Lucia are where in Soufre. We have Sugar Beach, we have Anne Shastley and Jade Mountain, we have Hotel Chocolat, we have Ladera, we have Stonefield, we have the beautiful magical Fordu Estate, and all these mystical, magical properties that people pay thousands and thousands of US dollars to come see. And we're right here and we don't even go have a look. It's not as expensive to eat at some of these restaurants as we think it is. So why not treat yourself and go and experience some world-class cuisine right here, as I said, within driving distance. So the whole idea is to get people to come to Soufre, not just to experience the show or the concert, but to encourage people to come and visit the sites in the town.
To get the Soufre experience.
To get the Soufre experience, of course.
So tell me, Candy, you know, could we give away a ticket later on in the episodes?
Of course we can.
You guys heard that, right? So a ticket to see Jack Yor is in the making, yeah?
So
a
that
free
will
ticket.
save you your bus money to get down to Soufre, because we're also working with the Grocery Minibus Association as well as the Viewport Minibus Association to make it as easy for people to get to and from Soufre as possible. So transportation won't be an issue.
So there is no excuse.
You'll have to find a new excuse. No, I can't get there.
Definitely, it's not an excuse. Soufre Jazz. Tell me, how is everybody feeling on the ground?
As you rightly pointed out, we're organized, everything is good to go, a lot of the contracts have been signed, we're good and ready to go. So everybody's very excited, because I don't think there's ever really been this level of organization, this caliber of a lineup, and organization in general in terms of offering people more than just the experience at the concert, but an experience in the town while they're there over a few days. So it's a holiday weekend. I know some people may want to go to some of the other fringe events, but why not use Soufre as a base and go and come back and enjoy the different sites.
You heard that. Soufre, that's the place to be. Thank you so much, Candy, for hanging out with us on Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Thank you. Soufre Creole Jazz, be sure you don't want to miss this, okay? It's Jack Yor, okay? The time for this segment is over. We are going to take a short break. In the meantime, go like Choice TV's Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Remember, someone will win a ticket to the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. For it to be you, you have to stick around, so don't switch. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Jazz and Arts on Choice TV, the weekly entertainment show aimed at promoting the region's premier cultural festival. That is the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. For those of you just joining, I am Jessie Leos, and my guest for the arts segment of the show is Ms. Roycelyn Howell, a business development officer at the Small Enterprise Development Unit of the Ministry of Commerce, Business Development, Investment, and Consumer Affairs. That's a lot. She's here to talk to us about the Arts and Craft Village for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. First of all, give us a brief, history of the Arts and Craft Village that SEDU hosts every year for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival.
Let me say thank you first, Jessie, for having us on.
Thank you for coming.
SEDU has been involved in the Jazz and Arts Festival for well over 15 years. We have been very instrumental in moving and helping shape and grow our local industry of crafters, designers, persons who want to, explore the arts. And we, over the years, have worked with a number of very interesting names. Queen Esther, Shanzi, we've seen them grow and moved and blossomed into very prosperous businesses. Now, for our department, we have also grown in terms of our experience with the Jazz and Arts Festival. We have moved and always worked in collaboration with the St. Lucia Tourist Board and a number of other agencies that have allowed us to explore and introduce our clients to different audiences. In fact, in the last years, we've worked over about 4 or 5 venues on average within the different quarters of St. Lucia, including Fordor and the Tea Time Jazz at La Place Carinage, as well as more recently the Baywalk Mall. And I think we are trying to see how we can explore other venues so that our audiences can get a sense of the larger piece of the market as we get clients coming in and patrons coming in from around the world.
Okay. How successful has the event been in terms of attracting some of the artisans? All of the artisans, as a matter of fact, and as well as attracting the patrons to the exhibits?
We have had a very wonderful response from our clients. On average, we would work with about 30 persons at one particular venue for Pigeon Island Jazz. And we have actually been more selective looking at the kind of quality that will sell St. Lucia on a global scale. So we have actually worked selectively identifying persons who have that kind of authentic product to make St. Lucia a reputable image on the market. We find that many of our clients who have worked with us over the years, they tend to come back. They always are eager to find out what's happening with the Sedu Craft Village.
So you know they've seen you on TV
yes,
now.
and they're going to be calling. We anticipate that this year the registrations have already started. So we're looking at least 2 venues in the north and exploring with SLTB other possibilities so that for this year and the years to come we can continue to provide that kind of excellent quality product.
You mentioned a few names, but tell me some of the testimonials of businesses that have boomed as a result of the Arts and Craft Village held every year for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival.
Okay. In the earlier years, we worked with a number of companies, a number of businesses. I don't know if you know of the Cannabelle, soap manufacturers in canneries. We've worked with Shanzi, La Boutique, Queen Esther, the Kumba Productions. And if you remember the late Sabinus Thomas, who was owner of the Liberty Art Studio. Okay, yes. Very, very well known in terms of the craft and design artisans. We have also grown with a number of other manufacturers of wire work, woodwork, and some of these clients keep coming back to us because they've seen the benefit of not just the sales aspect of jazz, but networking and building a clientele and potential markets overseas.
Definitely. What items of craft tend to get the most attraction?
Well, you can say there's some of them which tend to pull clients because they're very unique pieces. The wire work, for example, we have persons like Paulina Silman who produces very unique pieces with wire. We have newer pieces that have come on. There's a gentleman who does caricatures, so life portraits, and that tends to pull young clients. Very, very dynamic young man. And we find that our clientele, as they hear about the craft village, they always want to know where we will be based. While the layout at Pigeon Island has changed, you find that people tend to look for the village. We have had some long-standing clients who are artists, like Ollie Wallace. They have persons who worked with calabash and different types of products. So we get a range of products.
Okay. What can we expect this year?
Well, this year I expect it to be fabulous. We have a number of persons who have already shown interest. We're looking at building the scope, not just for products, I should say, but to include services, because our line of products would focus not just on the handicraft, but we look at beauty and wellness, on aromatherapy, persons dealing in cosmetics, developing product lines that will speak to the skin and beauty. So we are trying to involve a range of lines. Of course, the persons we work with. We try to nurture them over the years to build not just the product line, but the business sense. So our officers tend to go out to them, mentor them, and try to get them to speak to the market needs and always keep evolving so that they can meet those external markets.
Okay, what does SEDU do out of the jazz season? Just give me a synopsis of what
generally. Yeah. Well, SEDU, as a unit within the Ministry of Commerce, we provide technical assistance to businesses that come into us. We usually have them start up for registration of the business in collaboration with the Registry of Companies. We deal with them on a one-on-one basis as persons come to us where they need one-on-one assistance, hand-holding for planning the business, setting up the business, looking at the layout, location, and other issues that may come about in terms of maybe finalizing record keeping, finance, even the little details that will help them to do things a little better. So on a daily basis, we work with clients that come in. We also provide general training and workshops that will allow them to build their financial and technical skills. We support a lot of the time the work that the individuals have as well as groups in a particular sector. So if the sector has a particular need, we will also speak to that.
Okay. When can artists begin to register?
As of now, anybody who's interested in working with SEDU as part of the Craft Village, they can come in and speak to our officers. We are open from 8 to 4:30 and we're located on the 4th floor of the Heraldine Rock building. So it's an open door policy. You feel free to walk in and any of the officers will address you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Howell, for hanging out with us. Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Sorry, we'll be right back with your Flashback Thursday jazz photos and more. Stay tuned. Before we head to opening the phone lines, we just want to give you some updates as to what is going on right now in the jazz and arts world. A casting call is going out for runway models to be part of the 3rd annual Haute Couture. Of course, no experience is necessary. Men and women are invited to register. You must bring proof to show that you are 16 years or older on May 1st to participate. All ladies must be 5'7" or taller, men 5'10" or taller, that rules me out. All models must register before being seen by the judges. Even if you have modeled for Haute Couture before, you must bring a photo, preferably a headshot. Castings will be held at the Star in Gros Soleil on March 28th, 30th and 31st, and March 29th in Vieux-Fort at the Kimatry Hotel. For all our social media junkies, the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival is now on the go. The St. Lucia Tourist Board this week launched an app for the festival. The app features include access to view the complete festival lineup, artist bios, audio samples, show dates, venues, and much, much more. So for those of you with your smartphones, ensure that you download the app. The link is at the bottom of your screen. And speaking of social media junkies, Jazz and Arts is the place for your Throwback Thursday images of you enjoying the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival over the years, from 1992 to last year's St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. And here's what you sent us this week. course, we put in some photos of artists who have performed over the years as well. If you have any flashback photos of yourself attending the festival throughout the years, do share with us to show next week on Jazz and Arts. Just email them to us at jazz@choice39.tv. That is JAZZ at choice39.tv. Now, moving on to what you guys have been waiting for, a chance to win a ticket to the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. In our second segment, we did a feature on Darity Williams, who will be performing main stage on May 10th. The giveaway question is, drum roll, please name the other headline artists who will be gracing main stage on May 10th besides Darity Williams. Our phone number is at the bottom of your screen, so do call. I'm waiting on the calls. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, you ready to give me the answer for the other headline artists for May 10th, other than Darity Williams?
Jimmy Cliff?
Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah.
The other acts who are listed. Ah. Well, so you just missed out on your opportunity. We have another call.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good evening, dear.
Hello.
Hello, can you list the other acts for May 10th other than Darity Williams?
Jackie.
No, dear, I'm so sorry. Have a good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hi. Can you list the names of the individuals who will be on stage May 10th, Pigeon Island Landmark?
It will be Chrisette Michelle, Jimmy Cliff, Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke.
And Darity Williams will be performing with Jessie Billy.
Jessie Billy, yay! Congratulations. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Shanta.
Repeat that.
Shanta.
Shanta, congratulations, Shanta.
Thank
Do
you.
stay on the line. We're gonna take your, what is your last name, dear?
Maximin.
So Shanta Maximin. Okay, do come to the office, to the Choice TV studios with your ID, and we will give you your ticket to the opening of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Congratulations to our winner this evening.
Thank you.
Shanta Maximin, congratulations, girl. Thank you for watching Jazz and Arts on Choice TV. Watch us weekly, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. and Sundays with repeats at 11. We'd like to thank you so much for showing up and having fun with us on Choice TV, Jazz and Arts. Of course, till we get to the climax of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, remember to send your flashback photos to jazz@choice39.tv, like Choice TV on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to continue with the conversation of Jazz and Arts, and also for a chance to see your comments posted on TV starting from next week. Of course, we'd like to say a special thanks to all of our sponsors, Media Zone Productions, St. Lucia Tourist Board, Flow, WLBL, RJB, St. Lucia Distillers, Peter & Company, Digicel, Sea Island Cotton Shop, and Denmark. Do have an enjoyable evening. See you next week, same time. Jazz and Arts on Choice. Oubliez-moi.